So Nick, I'm assuming you did see, because we kind of talked about it, but you saw the short that I posted this morning, right? You muted, buddy.
I literally clicked unmute too. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, you're short. Hold on, hold on. I
It,
know I watched it, but
it was so genuine, is why I put, because dude, I was just going back and like
oh
sometimes
yeah,
at
yeah,
work,
the Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah,
your reaction is you are literally so excited about it. Like it's not even like you were being sarcastic. You're like, I love it, and I was like, I was crying, laughing. It's like I gotta
yeah,
post this.
yeah. It's become a running joke with our listeners now that Nick loves font. Dude, I'll tell you what. I'm a simple man. You put some fire font in a credit sequence, and I'm all about it. Especially like Black Christmas 2019 is a perfect example. It's a movie that I don't like, but at the beginning you're seeing that font, and you're like, there might be something here. I don't know.
What are your top 5? Like no bullshit. I want to do this with you. Top 5 horror movie fonts. I can tell you one that I love right now is
What is it?
this
What is it?
the Psycho font where it's the slash through the letters of the word. That's fire as hell. I
I
love
love
that.
Scream. I love Scream 3. Um, I love Halloween 3. Um, I really like Halloween 5 as well. Um,
A Nightmare on
I've
Elm
always
Street,
loved the
the sequel
I've always
font's
loved
like
the
above me
Saw
is cool.
font. The Saw font, I think the Saw font is really cool too.
Yeah,
I
like the
like the Saw.
W is like the hand pull
Mhm.
blade thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big font guy. I mean, what what can I say, man? Love me a good font.
Oh man, I want to say thanks to everybody for the kind words over the last week with the podcast because we had 2 interviews in a row, which was just not really planned. It just kind of happened that way. But everybody was just so excited. I mean, they were like, "This is awesome!" So, we're still working on stuff. I mean, Nick usually likes to say stuff early, so I'll fucking do it too. I don't care. Richard Band, Charles Band's brother, who composed. Richard composed all those scores. He did Reanimator, Puppet Master, you name it. Richard Band did all those scores. Troll. I have talked to him, and he said, "Hey, I'm busy, but let me try to find some time. I'll get back to you, and we'll make that work." So if I can get Richard Band, that's going to be a big deal. So fingers crossed, guys. I can make that happen. I'm waiting on him to tell me a day or a night that we can make that work. And if that happens, I'm going to be really excited because I mean it's
You got
great history with him.
you got me thinking. I'm checking my email right now to see if I've heard anything new about Ashley Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I have not. I have not. But I'm gonna keep the pressure on. Antoine, if you're watching, listening, hit me up.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for all the support over that. That was awesome. And God, the people were I had a bunch of people like, when is Daniel Farrance going on Spotify? Hurry up, hurry up. I got it up. So in case you're wondering, I got that up a day or so ago. I gotta keep exclusivity on YouTube for a couple days. I mean, but I get it up no longer than usually 2 to 3 days. So it's up there. So
Christian is over here. It's totally lost on him that he's talking about how he gets it up. He gets it up in 2 to 3 days. It only takes 2 to 3 days, but
only
he'll get
takes
it
2 to
up.
3 days.
He'll
Clip
get it
me.
up.
I don't care. Somebody clip me. Clip it.
Yeah, y'all clip me for fucking font. Shit.
But your reaction was so if you don't know what I'm talking about, people, stop this podcast for a second, go to my short section and just look at Nick loves the Jason Takes Manhattan font. He's so happy. He loves that toasted vein is the name of that font.
It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's very metropolitan.
Yeah. No, yeah, last week's episodes were cool. We normally don't film 2 episodes in like a 48-hour span, but that's what we did because we had guests that could do Monday night and Wednesday evening. So we were like, we're doubling down. And I know sometimes that can probably make it like one episode might get lost in the shuffle. And because there was 2 uploaded so close together, but the viewership's been decent on them, especially the Daniel Farron's one. I expect that one to be one of those ones that just grows and grows and grows.
Evergreen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks everybody for watching and for the kind words about, everything. Lord knows we're not interviewers by trade or anything like that. But, I go through all the comments just like Christian does on the episodes, and to see everybody be like, you guys ask great questions. He seemed like he enjoyed talking to you guys. And we just want to tell you guys, he told us that. I mean, he straight up told us that. He actually reached out to me later that night, and I didn't send you the screenshot. I probably should have. But he was like, I just wanted to say that, like, I've done these before, and like, people have only asked me about one thing. And he was like, you guys, I really liked your energy and I liked your questions. And I'd love to come back on sometime when, and I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I implore people, like, legitimately go check out that movie, The Haunting of Sharon Tate. It's a really interesting movie. I liked it a lot. You can get it on Blu-ray, DVD, really cheap, and I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. I wouldn't doubt if it's on Prime or something. It's a really interesting movie. I liked it a lot. So go check that out, guys.
Well, we can find out right now. Christian, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, watch options. You can watch it for free on YouTube.
Really?
For free, and it's on.
Go ahead.
It's on Prime as well. It's on Prime as well.
Yeah, Prime. I remember it was on Prime. So that's good. Yeah, guys, just check it out. It's a really good, I swear, it's a really interesting, good movie. It's not like a horror movie, but it's of course dealing with dark subject matter with all that stuff. But yeah, good movie. So anyway, that brings us to tonight. I think subconsciously, with all the Scream stuff that's been going on lately and all the meta stuff, all the meta-esque type stuff because of Scream and stuff, I was like, you know what? It's time to take the New Nightmare journey. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I really want to do this. I want to do an episode on this Nightmare on Elm Street film. I could have gone down the well and been like, hey, let's do Dream Warriors, or let's do part 2, which is my favorite. But I want to do New Nightmare because, number one, listening back to some of the older episodes we've done, I've been critical about the things I don't like about this film, but I feel like this could be a situation. I could be wrong. I could actually like this movie a little bit less this go around. I don't know. But I feel like I was giving criticisms on things, and I was thinking to myself, I should probably revisit this again to see if that's genuinely how I feel. So I think the time is right with all the big Scream stuff going on, because this movie obviously is in that zeitgeist of that meta real world type of stuff. And I just felt the timing was right to revisit New Nightmare. So that's where we're at tonight.
Yeah. Funny enough, Christian, I watched this movie like a month ago. When my mom was in town, and she was, when she's here, she pretty much takes care of my kids, so I can have some time to myself. And I was watching the movie, and she came in near the end, and she sits down on the couch. She goes, "Which one is this?" I was like, "New Nightmare." And mind you, guys, I told you all about my mom. She saw the first movie in theaters. She saw Halloween and Halloween 2 in theaters back in the day. Like, so, that's her wheelhouse. But I don't know if she'd ever seen New Nightmare. And she's going, that's Nancy. I was like, yeah. And she's like, she died in the third one. I'm like, Mom, you came in way too late for me to try to explain this to you. And then she sees John Saxon. She's like, but they're not like father and daughter in this movie. I'm like, no, Mom. No. She's like, but why is he calling her his daughter? I'm like, it's like a dream now, Mom. Like, she's like, like, fucking, like, stop. But yeah, I can tell when my mom is like interested. I feel like she gravitates towards what's familiar. She saw Heather Langenkamp and John Saxon and stuff, and she was like, this movie might not suck. Same thing with Halloween 2018. She liked it because Jamie Lee Curtis was back. So,
well, I mean, look, before we get started, I want to ask this question objectively, not necessarily nostalgia, emotions, things like that. Would you say of the 90s, of the big 3 or even 4, that this is respectively probably the best one out of the bunch? Meaning Texas Chainsaw 3, Next Generation, Halloween 5, Halloween 6, H2O, and Freddy's Dead, New Nightmare, and Jason Goes to Hell. I think if it's not the best, it's probably, I'm talking objectively, just in terms of absolute production quality, directing, the whole kit and caboodle. I'd say that most people would probably say Wes Craven's New Nightmare is one of the better, if not the best of the bunch.
I'd say I'd say it's number 2, and I'd say H2O is number 1, and that's not because I'm a Halloween fanboy. Because I'm not a big H2O fan. It's near the back end of my ranking of that franchise. I just think that movie was a much bigger deal. It was a bigger production. It was, that anniversary. You bring Jamie Lee back. You had Steve Miner. There was a lot of people in that movie with a lot of cred, and it was an anniversary movie. It was kind of like an event. So, but I would say I probably like New Nightmare better than H2O. But yeah, objectively, H2O and New Nightmare, those are like, on an objective level, easily the 2 best out of the big 3 in the 90s, period. I love me some Halloween 6. Don't get me wrong, but it's not on a technical level like those 2 movies.
All right, well, let's get started. We can talk more about that, guys. We're going to be taking the journey as usual. You don't need to be watching this because God knows we get off on tangents about life, the universe, and things around us. Let me get to the 0-0 mark. I'm excited to revisit this, man. I can't tell you how long it's been. Okay. All right, I'm at the New Line logo about to start. It's backing out a little bit. The big square for the New Line logo. I got it paused.
All right, same here. You count it down.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. New Nightmare. It's interesting thinking about it. Obviously, Halloween was at the right time. Halloween H2O was at the right time and the right concoction 20 years later. And, oh shit, I got to turn it down. 20 years later, the whole kit and caboodle, Jamie Lee's back. I almost wonder if this movie would have came out in 98, 99 instead of 94 when we're only 3 years outside of Freddy's Dead. Same thing. Nothing really has to change. You might have to recast the kid because he would have been a little bit older, but would it have been a bigger deal? Would people have missed Freddy more by this point? Because it really didn't set the world on fire, which is a shame. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not. I've seen some people say, "Oh, it's the meta angle that they took." No, because a lot of people may not have even known that, and they would have still bought a ticket to go see it to figure that out for themselves. I don't think it was the meta thing. I think it was just a little. They didn't give Freddy enough time to breathe. Christian, they had a motherfucking funeral for the guy just a few years earlier.
I know.
They're
it's
like,
crazy
just kidding.
shit.
Just kidding. He's back. And it's like, they needed to give it a little more time to breathe, I think. So, yeah, if this would have come out a few years later, yeah, it would have been, I think, a much bigger hit.
Yeah. I want to see this movie, whatever the hell they were doing with Wes direct. Look at, Wes is good right here. Like, he's in his element as a director. Like, yeah, great job, guys, and more blood.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh my ass off later in the movie when he's having the scene with Heather. First of all, I want to say that Heather is just gorgeous in this movie. Yeah, I've said that I think she's the best in this movie, and I'll see if I still feel that way. I can't imagine I won't. I don't know. Just
this is
more experience, at this point.
This is her best role, I think.
Yeah. And I wonder, was this set stuff actually a part of the movie? I wonder if all this stuff right here, this big set that we're at, is that used at the end of the movie and it's actually part of the set, but they're making it an even more meta thing, like a double meta. You know what I mean? Like right now that because when I guess we'll have to pay attention when we get to the end. If all that scenery looks the same when they go into the demon lair with Freddy and stuff, I wonder if that's like a double meta. Because
if not, what a waste of budget. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they didn't use that for other things in the movie, like, holy shit, you built a whole set to like not even use it. Like, I'm sure they at least repurposed some of it. They would have had to have. I mean, you don't build a set that large and just not use it.
Right. Dude, I read in there's that book I was reading, Slash of the Titans, that Bob Shea and all of them really didn't have much interest in doing another Jason movie when they got the rights for Jason after 89. But Freddy's Dead was successful enough that they were like, well, we need to milk the cow some before we get there. So that got kind of put the green light towards Jason Goes to Hell.
Isn't that wild? Like, it's so wild to me that just a few years prior, Nightmare 4 came out and made a ton of money.
Shit ton of money.
And then 5 underperforms, but not like an insane amount. Like, it was just like, oh,
it underperformed for a Nightmare film.
Yeah.
It was still like, just to be, I hate to be that guy, but it was still like way better than like the Halloweens or Friday the 13th during that time.
What did it do? 20 some odd million?
Yeah, almost 30.
Yeah. So one movie with some diminishing returns, and they're like, all right, we got to kill this guy. We're done. I'm like, crazy. What the fuck? Halloween was like Halloween 4. Everyone's like, it was a box office hit. Yeah, it grossed $17 million. Like, what are we talking about? Halloween 5 grossed $11 million. Halloween 6 grossed like $15 million. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just the difference between Mustafa and Bob Shea. And Mustafa was like, it made enough to where we can fund another one. Let's do it.
Yeah. And let's put that into perspective. 15 million in 89 today is probably close to double that, right? Maybe even a little bit more when you say about 30 million.
Yeah.
So what would let's compare that with like Scream 6. What did that do opening weekend? Didn't it do like 38 or something?
Scream's opening weekend was 43.5.
God damn. Yeah. So Scream basically did in its opening weekend what the total of like a Halloween 5 did in its complete run.
No, it did the total of what Halloween 6, 5, and 4 did combined.
Oh, really? Fuck.
Yes. Yeah.
God damn.
That showed where horror was at then to where it's at now. Now, obviously, like inflation, it factors into it. Obviously, it's not apples to apples comparison. But even if you factor in the inflation, you're still probably talking about its opening weekend was probably on par with Halloween 4 and 5's combined gross with inflation. Like, that's pretty gnarly. Like, horror, I don't know, certain franchises break through in the zeitgeist though. And Scream is definitely one of them right now. That's just like,
it's crazy, man. Is it outperforming Halloween's right now? The Halloween movies?
Well, it has surpassed. I'm looking it up right now. I know for a fact it's done more than Halloween Ends, and it is right now, I think, tied with Halloween Kills. It's at 141.6 million worldwide.
Yeah.
So Halloween Ends did 105. Halloween Kills did 133. So yeah, it's outperformed the last two Halloween
Jesus
movies.
Christ.
And it's tracking. Most industry experts say that they think it's going to end up in the 170 to 180 when it's done, which would be not with inflation, of course, but like just raw numbers on the sheet would be the highest grossing Scream.
Oh my God. Isn't that something else?
Yeah, and we still don't have an official announcement for 7. Make that make sense.
I'll be a son of a bitch.
I know why, though. I mean, well, at least I think why is that they're waiting to find out what's going on with Radio Silence to see if they're going to be a part of it or not. Because I don't think they want to do it without him.
We'll see. And then you got to think about Nev if they're going to want to bring her back.
Yeah, but I'm sorry if I'm Nev and they come to me again. I'm going, I saw how much you made. So what's up, Paramount?
Yeah. I mean, and I would expect at the latest or at the earliest, we're looking at 2025. I would expect at least 2025. I doubt
they turned around this one in 14 months from 5 to 6. So I feel like if we get an announcement over there, I would say by June, it'll probably be out by next fall. but I also think that is dependent on radio silence. Maybe they let it breathe for a little bit and let radio silence do Escape from New York.
That's gonna be interesting because when I heard Kurt Russell was in it, I was like, okay, I'll watch this.
They also said they're going to acknowledge L.A. Some people were like, just don't even acknowledge that existed, and they're like,
Dude, I
no, we're
love
going
LA.
to. Yeah,
Fucking love LA. Damn, Heather looks good in it. Like she does, man. I like her in this movie. I wonder how old she was here. What is this? 93, 94?
yeah. How old was she in the original?
She had to be in a baby. 19, 20.
20. Yeah, she's in her 30s here.
So I wonder how original this idea was, this meta thing, and to this level, to actually have her play herself.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know if I'd seen it at this point. You know what I mean? Can you think of a movie that came out before this that tried this tact?
Not offhand. Somebody probably can,
Yeah,
but
they're going to tell us in the comments.
and that's fine. I mean,
Please do. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything that went this literal. Is that the Pet Cemetery kid?
Yeah, dude, that's Miko Hughes.
I thought he had blonde hair in Pet Cemetery.
I did too when I was like a toddler. My
And your
hair
hair
was
just
like
changed?
blonde. Yeah, and it got more brunette as time went on. Same thing with my son. His is getting more brunette as time's going on, but when he was, 1 and 2, it was just blonde as all get out. Like,
Well, I'll be damned.
this was 5 years after Pet Cemetery also. So,
Damn, he was an infant then, right? In Pet Cemetery, he had to have been like maybe a year, not even that, or maybe he was a year, right? Didn't he like
well,
crawl and walk in that?
he talked a lot, so I would say he was at least 2. He was born
You're right.
in
Yeah.
He was born in 86, so he was 3. But filming it, he was probably like, 2, 2.5.
So here's my biggest concern with this movie. Now that I'm sitting here and watching it, is it gonna feel slow? Because
Yes.
that's something that I've in the past I've always struggled with. Is that sometimes it just feels slow.
The third act of this movie is really fun. There's a lot going on, but the first act definitely is slow. The second act isn't as slow because you start to get revelations, you get a kill here and there, and so you're like things start to become more clear. But yes, the first act, the obligatory, hey, this is Heather Langenkamp, not Nancy Thompson, and this is the real world. Yeah.
Because I wonder if this is this reintroduction. I like the look of the Freddy in this; it's really cool. But I wonder if it's just a case of it doesn't matter that it's this new entity to the audience. Oh my God, it's Freddy. I'm so ready to see him. When are we going to see him? When are we going to see him? When are we going to see him? And I wonder if I get that, if people have that fatigue with this movie that aren't a big fan of it too. Although I like it, but I just wonder if there's a fatigue with that. Like, God damn it. We don't need to build up to this bastard. Let's fucking see him,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that podcast that I've talked about before, Now Playing, that movie review podcast, their review of this, which I was surprised. I was actually kind of bummed. All 3 of them really did not like this movie. They all gave it not recommends, and 2 of them were really
You kidding?
No, 2 of them, and one of them's like a Freddy super fan. One of them gave Freddy's Dead a recommend, and he didn't give this one a recommend. But I get the nostalgia and stuff like that. I know that plays a part into it, but yeah, one of them called. He referred to Freddy in this movie as Tefcaf, the entity formerly known as Freddy. TEFKAF. Tefcaf.
Oh,
okay. He wouldn't call him Freddy, when they were discussing this movie because he says he's not Freddy.
That is Freddy. I'll tell
But
you why.
I
It's
love
Robert
Freddy's.
fucking England.
I
That's
love
why it's
Freddy's
Freddy.
look in this movie. I love
Oh,
it.
dude, he looks like the fucking part 2 is still so fucking creepy to me. But this one looks powerful as fuck. You know what I mean? Like he
What do you
looks like
think about the jacket and the hat?
oh, I fucking love it.
Yeah, same. I
I
actually
really
like
love it. I really love the big jacket, and it's subtle, but the inverted stripes on the sweater, because on the regular Freddy sweater, it's a red collar. But on this one, they reversed it. And you wouldn't think it would make a difference visually, but it does. It just does. The fact that they reversed it, and it whole different vibe to him. But yeah, I mean, just jackass limo driver. I'm liking Heather a lot in this movie. I just feel like she's. I wouldn't doubt if this is her personality. Like, she's not like this overly pleasant person. Like, she's a real human being that gets pissy. She doesn't like talking to people. Like, you look at this limo driver. Like, and she's just sitting back here like, oh God, here we go. That seems so authentic to me. Because I don't care who you are. Everybody gets pissy and doesn't. Nobody likes people. I don't care who you are. At a certain level, people just want to be left the fuck alone. And I think that's really relatable here. So character-wise, I like her the most in this. It's kind of like the H2O thing for me, where Jamie, I feel like that's her personality in that movie. It's like at least half of her character in that movie. That's just her as a human being. She's snappy. Jamie doesn't seem like the type to be. She's like what do you call it? Personality A. She's an alpha. You know, when she's in part of a group, she's got that in charge feeling. She has no problem saying, "This is what the fuck I think." Blah blah blah. She's not passive at all, and that I love that authenticity. Oh, look at the crowd here. These kids with these shitty Freddy masks.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think Heather works killer with the material here. It's just I don't know, we'll see. I'm not feeling the drag yet. But dude, when I was a kid, this scene, I remember seeing this scene before really watching the movies, and it fucking haunted me. Because I thought that Freddy just bursted into this television show, was about to kill everybody. That was the context I thought of as a kid. But I love this part of the movie. And seeing Robert out of makeup is killer too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with the personality type thing. Heather definitely seems like somebody, and I mean, it's kind of proof through her career, or honestly lack thereof. She didn't have much of a career and I feel like that was part of her choice. Honestly, like I
Definitely
felt like
her choice. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't really want to be a movie star, and I don't know. So it's almost like I do believe part of that is real, that she's almost like, oh yeah, I'm Nancy Thompson. I know, I've heard this a million times. Like, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm trying to decipher what kind of makeup look this looks like. I feel like it's closer to 5 than anything. It's almost got like the shape of Freddy's Dead, but the color tone of part 5. It's actually a really good look for Freddy right here as the movie Freddy, right? Like I dig this one. And look, some of the kids have the sequel sweaters on, and some of the kids have the part 1 sweaters on, where it's just the straight red sleeves. But here's the thing, Nick. Like, I love New Nightmare Freddy, but you see that scene right there? God damn it, that's my Freddy. So it's just like there's almost a little bit of a bittersweetness where I'm just like, fuck. Look at Robert. Robert's a fucking star, dude. Look at him. I love him. Signing autographs. And then she's just like, fuck these kids.
Yeah.
Fuck these little bastards.
I mean, they want his autograph anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you look at, that's the difference. Like I feel like with Nightmare than Halloween, like the goat or the white whale is always going to be Jamie Lee for autographs and stuff. But with Nightmare, nobody is ever going to have a bigger line. Nobody than Freddy. It's not even close. Than Robert. I don't care who it is. Not Heather, not Lisa, not Tuesday. None of the Dream Warriors kids. Everybody wants to meet Freddy.
Well, that makes
He's just
sense.
a star.
It makes sense comparatively. Michael Myers doesn't have a ton of personality because he doesn't really emote, and Freddy's all about personality. So it's like it's easier to get drawn to a character like Freddy because you get to see who he is, you know. And I don't know, the draw in these nightmare movies. See, that's one thing that I part of the reason why I like Halloween a lot, I think, is because they do ask you to get invested in your leads. And that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. That's just a choice. And that's, Halloween a lot of the time is like, invest in this lead, really like this lead. And like the movies you really like, you usually really like the lead and their performance in that movie. But Nightmare's lead is Freddy. So
definitely,
it does,
especially the sequels. That moment right there when Heather goes into the New Line building and the girl at the desk was like, "Can I help you?" And she's like, "I'm here to see Bob." Well, was he expecting you? And she looks at the girl like, "You don't know who the fuck I am, bitch. Like, I built this place just like, Look at that. You saw all the Freddy's Dead memorabilia.
Yeah.
Come on, Bob. Where's the Dream Warriors or Part 2 stuff? Look, it's all. Oh god, look at those paintings back there with the inverted colors for Freddy. God damn it. I wish I had those. But see, Bob Shea can't act his way out of a goddamn bag. He's terrible. Here's the famous line. Oh, Heather kids love horror. Dude, my knees buckle. Look at the shit-eating grin he's got. Wes is no better. He's got this shit-eating grin the whole time he's trying to act. And it's just clear that Heather is an actress. Way better than these jackasses.
God. Bob is it's painful.
So what's he saying, that Wes Craven hasn't been able to make another movie because he hasn't had any nightmares? What the fuck?
Yeah, pretty much. Now that Wes is having fucked up dreams again, they're like, let's make a new nightmare movie.
Dude, if that's the case, dude, if I wrote a nightmare film every time I had a fucked up dream, dude, every 3 weeks we'd be in production. Yeah. I have fucked up dreams, dude. In my dreams, like, I don't know if you're the same. I can't even describe to you the scenarios of what my dreams are, but the feeling of complete anxiety when I wake up sometimes, I'm like, holy fuck, thank God I just woke up and that was a dream. Like pulse, beating heart, sweating bullets, feeling like you're just about to die. Oh my God.
Yeah, my nightmares get really intense. Like, I almost always wake up from them and go like, thank God. And most of the time, for whatever reason, a common theme in my nightmares is that I like killed someone or I committed some terrible crime and I like go to jail, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God that wasn't real. Like, I don't want to be in prison. Like, something about having my freedom. Like, that's a really big fear of mine. It's like, I know I'd never, do anything like that. But I think that's why I have dreams about it sometimes. Cause it's like, but what if you did? And it's like, yeah, no.
Yep. Somebody answer the goddamn phone.
I wonder if people that are like serial killers have nightmares about like good stuff.
Dude.
Like puppies and
that's a fucking great question.
Kittens.
Dude, that's a great question.
Well, yeah, Dahmer loved animals. I'm sure he had a lot of dreams about animals.
I can't help but he runs through my mind every time I get, especially the other day, when I get ready to watch Exorcist 3, it's always like, oh, that's his favorite horror movie. And I never know when people, they'll comment that to me or they'll say something like, hey, that's Dahmer's favorite movie. What the fuck am I supposed to say to that? You know what I mean? Like, cool. I can't say cool.
Like, I know, winky face, like really like,
what the fuck?
Play into it.
I mean, I guess everybody, even shitty people, have a favorite horror movie.
Yeah. Dude, so I got to tell you a story about something that happened at work today.
I'm listening.
So this guy comes in and he's wearing a John Carpenter's Halloween shirt. And
what kind of John Carpenter? Hold on, you gotta be way more specific than
it was just the original poster art. the jack-o'-lantern and the knife. And
Poser. Nobody
yeah.
wears. Real fans never wear that crap.
Well, I know. And
I was kidding. I have like 7 of them.
no, I know. I have one too, but it doesn't fit anymore. But because I got it in like high school. But yeah, no, well, hold on. You say poser. You might not want to retract that statement. Because I walk up there and I'm like, how can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. And
I am kidding people, by the way. I really swear to God, I'm kidding. Go ahead, Nick.
I said, hey, man, I love your shirt. It's my favorite horror movie. And I showed him my tattoo. And he's like, oh, cool. And like, didn't recognize that it was the jack-o'-lantern from the opening credits. And he just thought it was like a jack-o'-lantern. And I was kind of like,
so you just feel like a jackass?
Yeah. Like, dude, like it's unmistakable. Like it is literally unmistakable. Like if you know that movie well, you know that fucking jack-o'-lantern. So I was like, whatever, minor gripe. It kind of annoyed me, but he was in town for Horror Hound. He was talking about Horror Hound. He asked me if I'd ever gone, and I was like, no, but I went to Scarefest in Lexington in the fall, and that was really cool. And he was like talking about Scream. He's like, I met all the Scream people. I love Scream.
Okay,
Scream,
so hey,
Scream.
really quick, time out. So this guy is an actual horror fan. He's here for the convention, but he didn't recognize the Halloween pumpkin.
Yes.
Okay, I just need to make sure that's the story. Now continue.
So now Christian has more ammo to say, yeah, a bunch of these fucking Halloween fans, man, they're fucking post. I know you're thinking it. You don't have to say it. I know you're thinking it. But
I'm not saying anything. Go ahead.
But yeah, no. So nice guy, but I do kind of hate that sometimes. I do kind of hate that because I see someone in the wild, out in the wild, and I'm like, oh my God, you're just like me. And I'm like, hey, look, brother in Christ. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, you know what? You fucking ruined it. Like you ruined it. I thought we were going to have a moment and we'd be able to nerd out a little bit, and you just ruined it. So
yeah, you almost got to wonder, is this a normal guy that just watches these movies every now and again and enjoys them, and he doesn't watch it enough to remember exactly what the fucking pumpkin looks like? You know what I mean?
With that, though, I will tell you right now, I am not owning a T-shirt of something I don't really like. I'm just not. I'm not. Not at this age in my life. I buy T-shirts of stuff that I really like.
Fair enough.
Won't catch me walking around with a Mean Girls T-shirt. I like the movie Mean Girls.
Fucking love that movie.
I don't. Yeah, but it's not something I'm watching every year and I'm obsessing over. So I'm not going to be wearing a fucking T-shirt of it. I don't say you have to obsess over shit to wear a T-shirt. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like if I walked around with a Metallica shirt and it's like, what's your favorite Metallica song? Master of Puppets. Okay, can you name me 5 Metallica songs? Master of Puppets, Enter Sandman.
Let me ask you this. What do you hate more, Nick? The people that wear the shirts that don't know the bands, or the people that say, name 5 songs? Because can you agree that they're both kind of jackassy?
They are jackassy, but one of them is jackassy in the sense of like, at least they do know the band. That's why they're asking for you to name songs. It's such a fucking dick move, and you're a douche nozzle if you do that. But at least it says, I actually know their work. Okay, cool. But don't be a poser that's like, I'm a huge fan of this. Like, I saw that shit in high school, man. Everybody would wear those Walmart Metallica Master of Puppets shirts. And there's nothing wrong with wearing that shirt. It's a great album. It is a great album, an all-timer. But please know more than just the fucking song Master of Puppets. Please. It's such a good album. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I feel like you're almost doing yourself a disservice. Like, listen to the whole thing. You'll really like it. If you like the song Master of Puppets, there's going to be a lot of songs on there you really like. But
yeah, I think there's just scenarios where stuff becomes more as much of a brand as anything. And I mean, Kiss is the same way. I'm sure there's a ton of people that get Kiss shirts because they like the shirts. They probably couldn't name you a Kiss song. And the Beatles, goddamn, I feel bad for people that are real Beatles fanatics and they just see people wearing Beatles shirts all day and they couldn't even tell you, like, like, hey, do you like George Hamilton's solo record from '87 or something? Like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And they don't know that was a fucking member of the Beatles. Like, it's Sydney loves the Beatles, and like I ask her all the time. I was like, "Does it annoy you that a band that you love is a brand?" And it's like you just see people wear the stuff all day long while you actually listen. God, she made me spend a fortune on all these goddamn Beatles records too. But
But I
like,
mean, can we talk about that though? Because the Beatles and Metallica are both brands, and that's why Metallica gets memed so much because they were a brand for all these like casuals. But the Beatles don't get memed like that. Like they're the same way. How many stoners did you go to high school with that wore the same fucking Abbey Road t-shirt but couldn't name you two Beatles songs? But so like I never understood it. Like that was kind of it was always kind of shitty that Metallica was my favorite band growing up, like my entire life. So when I was in high school and I was wearing Metallica shirts, and my favorite Metallica shirt I had was my Kill 'Em All shirt, and it was great too because I knew none of those casuals knew that album, none of them, like not a single one. And I'm like, yeah, there's your Justice shirt, there's your Ride the Lightning, there's your Master. It's like cool, great albums, but like, it's your favorite song off Kill 'Em All. It's like, the fuck is that? It's like, exactly.
yeah,
But
I think the difference is you say why did the Beatles why wasn't there such hell for that? Well, I think it has to do with the type of music too. And metalheads, dude, they're gonna be a lot more vocal about a band like Metallica getting branded and seeing regular people just wear the shirts. Like metalhead kids are like diehard, and
they
they're
are.
like protective of shit almost to a fault. So I think that's the difference. Do you think my wife's gonna walk up to some fucking 16-year-old kid wearing a Abbey Road shirt and say, "Name the fucking members, you bitch,
No,
fucking
and
poser, bitch"? You know what I mean?
let me just say to you guys, I am not advocating that you do that, nor do I think it is a prerequisite to
I don't give a
wearing one
fuck
of
what
these
y'all do.
shirts. I don't think you need to be like an
Fucking knock 'em out.
aficionado. Yeah, but I just think that we should normalize. I don't know. It's like the same thing as putting decals on your car and stuff. Wow, that's horrible CGI.
I mean, it's 94.
No,
You think
I know,
why even CGI that?
I
Just
know.
get some fucking polyester. Get a fucking. That shot didn't need to be. Look, it's a solid short shot. Why couldn't they have gotten an actual seat that they could have a close up shot in? Doesn't even have to be in a vehicle, right? Just have a close up. Look, you don't see any part of the vehicle on that shot. Why even CGI that? You know what I
No,
mean?
no need, no need. Maybe it
Why
was
even
just for
CGI it?
time. Maybe it was time. Maybe it was for budget. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But
God damn, that a brutal death though.
yeah, I really dig that death.
He
But
got
yeah, no,
gutted too.
I just yeah, no. God, I couldn't tell you how many conversations I had with friends and just acquaintances throughout high school about the big four, being a Metallica guy. Everybody, if you're a fan of anybody else in the big four, like a bigger fan, it's like a prerequisite. You have to shit on Metallica. Like I had a buddy that was like, Slayer was the one for him out of the big four.
I can't even listen to Slayer,
Not
dude.
neither can I. And I'm like, they're the one out of the big four that I think doesn't belong personally. But okay, whatever. And it was always like, oh yeah, well, sonically they're so much more intricate and everything. I don't give a shit. I
Yeah,
can't listen
yeah.
to their
Let me
music.
tell you something. You want to have a good laugh? For all the musicians listening, go listen to a Tom Araya isolated bass track from any of the songs. He barely hits any notes, which is fine because he's also singing. But dude, compare that to what James Hetfield does, down picking fucking Master of Puppets for 7 minutes and singing. It's fucking insanely. It's so fun. I can listen to some Slayer. Don't get me wrong. Like South of Heaven, I like that song and stuff like that. But a lot of it is just jumbled shit to me. I'm an Anthrax cat. I love That's my favorite. I'm a big Anthrax fan. I love Belladonna's vocals, and they're like the Simpsons to me. They have a quirkiness to a lot of their stuff, and I
I
love Anthrax.
I always hated too because I've always liked Megadeth. And like I always hated being a Metallica guy because like people would be it's almost like they feel like you're gonna hate Megadeth and like, oh, you just took Dave Mustaine, so that's why you picked Metallica over Megadeth. Megadeth is so much more sonically intricate and there's just so much more going on in their music. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's Dave Mustaine's thing. Like, he's a really talented guitar player. Like, it makes sense that they were never as mainstream as Metallica, and part of that is because their sound isn't as accessible. It's still very
Yeah.
accessible. They're huge, but also it's the vocals thing. I just think James Hetfield's a better vocalist. That's not to say that Mustaine's bad, but he has a very specific style. And
It's an acquired taste. There's no
yes,
I like Dave. There's no denying it. And the fact of the matter is, dude, Mustaine saw what Metallica did, in my opinion, and then they not mimicked it, but I think it was a natural. I think a lot of it was natural. Both bands started slowing down. Like when you get to when you get to the Black Album, if you look at the Megadeth in the 90s, dude, those 3 records that they did, like if you listen to Rust in Peace, it's not there's obviously Holy Wars is a fucking bullet train, but there are songs that get slower on that. Then Countdown to Extinction, it's not a fast record. A lot of it is just groove. And then when you get to Euthanasia, which is a fucking amazing Megadeth record. Euthanasia is such a good record. It's none of it is fast. None of it. It's all mid-tempo stuff. But the Black Album was so fucking big. It didn't even they didn't stand a chance to break that glass ceiling. They did not stand a chance. There are songs on Euthanasia that I think are better songs than some of the stuff than some of the stuff on the Black Album or Fuel. Some of those songs are fantastic songs. But the Black Album was so fucking big. They toured it for like 4 years.
Yeah, and I always took issue with people's criticisms of Metallica with the Black Album because people said that they sold out with the.
Yeah, they did every fucking night.
Yeah, they did not sell out with the Black Album. They
had
started
the best producer in the world, Bob Rock.
When they tried to sell out was Load and Reload. That's when they tried to experiment a little bit and kind of go into a different sound, and it didn't work for them, and that's why it didn't last very long. A lot of people like those albums, and there's a lot of tracks like Low Man's Lyric on Reload is a fucking awesome song. I like
Until It Sleeps. That's a creep.
Oh,
that's a song for me that works.
Yes, it's a banger, creepy. But there's songs on both of those albums that you're like, this isn't Metallica. This is weird. Like, and then obviously you had Stanger. I know it's Saint Anger, but Saint Anger was a really weird time for the band because like they were trying to find a new bassist. At the time, James and Lars fucking hated each other.
Lars was such a little bitch.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I can't stand him in that documentary. To me, that whole thing is embarrassing. I understand that fans like seeing the behind the scenes stuff like that. I would never put myself out there like that.
Well, also, Lars, I know you know James really well, but he could eat you. Like,
dude, my dog could beat Lars's ass.
When I'm seeing them argue, I'm like, do you really want to go this route, Lars? Because like, if you piss James off enough, like he could eat you. But I don't know.
It's clear to me that James is a control freak, though.
But honestly, a lot of times in those really big bands, the front man is. You just don't always see it. And some of them are worse than others. But a lot of times you hear about it all the time. As time goes on, when stories come out about bands from past band members, it is always the front man. The front man, he was a control freak. You know, everything had to be his way and blah, blah, blah. And it's like some are worse than others. But to an extent, I think they earn that right because a lot of those frontmen go like, without me, this band would not be the same. And that's just a fact. Like if Metallica didn't have James Hetfield, they ain't selling out like they are now. It's just not happening. So
all this metal talk has me, I want to say to all the real ones out there, holy shit, that's Freddie. And oh God, that was a great shot. Holy fuck. God, that was creepy. Sucked him right through. That's good shit.
Like, would Judas Priest be the same without Halford? Fuck no.
I just read his autobiography, dude. It was really good. God damn, it was really good.
Do you remember when everyone was like shocked when they found out he was gay? I'm like, did you ever see a live performance of Judas Priest? Like ever? Just a video of it?
Yeah. Well, he was
a very eccentric man.
He was visibly, his band knew, even though he never openly said it. In the book, he says he never openly said anything to them about it, but they just knew, and it was completely understood, and they never had a problem with it. They just,
Like Queen with
you
Freddie
know,
Mercury.
but that goddamn, if people are into those autobiography books, I listened to Rob's autobiography audiobook, and it was, God, it's such a good read, such a good read. When he left Priest in the late 90s, he did a band called Two, and it's spelled the number 2 WO, and new metal was fucking massive at the time. He got John Five on guitar, put out this record in 97 or 98. Listen to a song called uh I Am a Pig from Two, and it's Rob Halford's new metal band. It's a fucking banger. It's so good. I never knew about it until he talked about it in the book, but that's a fantastic book. I love Priest too. But those records with that guy that they got, Tim Ripper Owens, that dude's voice is fucking crazy too. And
It's kind
Jugulator is a killer record, but Rob says he's never listened to the records till this day.
Yeah.
He can't do it. Good records. But yeah, I mean, you got to have Rob back.
It's crazy. You know, I've always commended Journey for getting someone that sounds exactly like Steve Perry. It is wild how well, like it's just like, if you just listen to it and you didn't see the guy, you could be tricked.
Yeah.
Like, it's damn good. But a lot of times you can't get that. Like, I'm sorry, I used to love 3 Days Grace. I do not like their new singer. I cannot listen to new 3 Days Grace. It doesn't sound like 3 Days Grace. It just doesn't.
No, they had a couple good songs. Isn't that the brother to the bass player or something? The singer?
I don't know. I don't know.
is.
But I remember I heard one of their newer songs and I was like, who is this? And I looked, I'm like, 3 Days. Oh my God. No. Like, just no.
Yeah, I got to see them a couple times back in the day with Adam. This was during the 1X era. Dude, that record, me and Sydney, whenever we drive home, we go to visit our parents sometimes in the weekend. It's like an hour drive, and we go shopping and stuff. And we always pick an era of music to listen to. And the last time we were driving home, we were listening to mid-2000 stuff, and we were listening to 1X and stuff. Dude, that record was fucking... It like killed emo at the time. I remember like when 1X came out, dude, that record was so fucking big.
Mm-hmm.
You turn on the radio, and it was hit after hit. Animal, Never Too Late, Pain, Riot. The singles kept coming. Half the record was singles, and it just wouldn't go away. It was fucking insane how big that record was.
Yeah,
and that was a good time. I got to see him twice.
That album was like huge for my formative years. But it's like, I think Linkin Park made the right decision. After Chester died, Mike Shinoda was like, we're not going to make new music. Like, we're not going to get a new singer. We're just not going to do it. And
yeah.
I think that's the right decision.
You're not replacing him.
No.
And I remember, didn't Shinoda he did some goddamn record in like 2005 or something. And it was like this digital rap thing. Well, you know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called, but I have listened to it. I wasn't a big fan.
I just remember MTV was trying to push that shit down everybody's throats. And
yeah, and Shinoda's a really good producer. Like, he does a lot of, like, he produced Still Alive, or Demi Lovato's song, like, for Scream 6. Like, he still does a lot of work in the industry as like a producer and a co-writer on songs and stuff. And obviously it is so wild to me. I guess it's not that wild, but like, I got to imagine Linkin Park has dozens of unreleased tracks over the years. They've released 2 over the past month that were from the Meteora era. Both of them are awesome songs.
It's a perfect record.
Yeah, and they both tracked at number 1 on the rock charts after they were released. And it's like, so Linkin Park releases unreleased tracks from 20 years ago after not having new music in 6 years, and they're tracking number 1. And these dudes are getting fat paychecks again. And it's like, honestly, you don't need to make new music. Go through every era of your music, find unreleased tracks. Yeah, remaster them, mix them a little bit, and just put them out there. Like, I honestly can't get enough of Chester's vocals. He was one of the most talented vocalists I had ever personally listened to. I think his range was insane. And the way he could turn on the growls and the just the guttural, like, screams, and he could go from like a falsetto into that and then out of it, like, so smoothly live. It was just like, how do you do that? Like, Another person that does that is M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. I think he has really good vocal control. And but I did not like their new song that came out like 2 weeks
Dude,
ago.
speaking of Avenged Sevenfold, during the 2006, 7, 8, 9 era, I always liked City of Evil. To me is like an amazing record. I love it. That was like, I always would say, don't mind the band. Band's great. Can't stand the fans, because they were so flamboyant. All of them had the chain buckles, belts, and the
Death Fat
t-shirts.
tattoos.
Oh, dude, the fans, you could see them a mile away. A mile away.
I still maintain that their best album is their self-titled from 07. That album has so many bangers on it. Afterlife, is
It's good, yeah.
everybody knows
I like
Afterlife.
City of Evil,
Scream.
dude. City of
City
Evil.
of Evil's awesome. City of Evil has arguably my favorite song they've ever done, which is MIA. MIA is an amazing song.
Is that the one that
song.
goes, "Can't you help me as I'm starting"? No, which one is that?
That's Beast and the Harlot.
MIA is dude, I know what you're talking about. It starts out with like a clean guitar part.
Yep.
Bum 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 ba da na bum 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 ba da na. Oh, dude. That record is so raw
at
too.
The carnage, praying that the sun
Dude,
would
oh my
never
God.
rise.
Yeah.
And it just picks up too, like bow, 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 now.
That album, yeah, that album is mixed so raw and natural. You get the classic Orange County sound and drums. That's my favorite record that they did.
Did you ever hear their first two, Waking the Fallen and Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, their first two albums?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my brother raised me on all that stuff.
Emo. They were like metalcore in their early years, and that stuff is insane. And you get a lot more of Jimmy's vocals, the Rev, the drummer,
right.
And his vocal. Man, that dude could have guttural screams that sounded like a bat was being raped. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, I remember when Chapter 4 came out, my brother got it opening day. He raised me on all that stuff. And then I think a lot of fans were like this. They got Chapter 4 because that was somewhat of a breakthrough for them. Then they went and found Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, or whatever it's called, the first record. And there was some good stuff on that, but the Chapter 4 record, whatever that one's called, Waking the Fallen. I just remember Chapter 4, the song, the big song. Dude, that record was that if I had $1 every time me and my brother played that CD back in 2005, 6, I'd be rich.
My favorite song on that record is Second Heartbeat. That song goes so hard. Yeah, dude, it goes so hard. Like,
great record.
The Rev was an incredible drummer. He was so talented, man. He was so good.
I like the my favorite member of that band's a singer though. Dude, his voice is amazing.
M Shadows, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny, these guys have all these stage names. His name is Matt, but he just goes by M. At least it's like, it's just short for his first name. Like, some guys have these stage names that have nothing to do with their actual name. His name is Matt, so he's like, my stage name will be M. Okay.
I dig that though. Like,
no, I do.
You may
I
as
do
well
too.
go with stage names. Johnny Christ.
Yeah. Sinister Gates.
Oh man.
Yeah, they really broke through though. Like, obviously they're self-titled and City of Evil were big, but Nightmare was their album that just every person that claimed they liked rock music was like, Nightmare is insane. And part of that was because the Rev died while they were making that album. So it definitely helped their notoriety that happened. But Nightmare as an album has some good songs on it, but it's hard for me to listen to nowadays just because a lot of it's just not Avenged Sevenfold. I like Buried Alive a lot. I love that song on that album. But yeah, you got songs like Nightmare and Welcome to the Family that were overplayed to death on the radio, and you're just like,
I wasn't a big fan of that. Yeah, I remember listening to that record and
couple good songs on it.
Yeah, I understand bands evolve and they change and they write differently and structure stuff, but I really dug that. I don't even want to call it over the top, man. Like, when you listen to Beast and the Harlot, it's almost like it sounds like a fucking casino going off with all the guitar shit. Like, I love it. God damn. But there's such a simplicity to the bass of the songs. There's 3 chords in the chorus, but you got all the guitar work. So, God, it's just Melody City in those songs. I love.
Dude, it even goes from like
Evil.
The guitar work in that song is like, even in the chorus where it's like do 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 do, and but then you've got like in the background just like it's fucking insane.
It's
like
insane.
All of that stuff is happening at one time. It's like Man. Yeah, so good, so good. But yeah, I don't know if you've checked out their new song called Nobody.
I did. I
I'm
did.
I was not a fan. I
I gotta
wasn't.
warm up to it, if anything. I mean, I didn't like the record in '07 for a while because again, I came from I was that typical stereotypical. Oh, they lost me when they got simpler and they stopped screaming, blah blah blah. But then I ended up really liking the '07 record.
I really liked their last album, The Stage. I thought technically that album was insane.
Was that the
Like
one that had
The
God
Stage
damn it,
on it, it had fuck Sunny
Wash?
Disposition, Paradigm, like so many good songs on an album.
Maybe it's the one before that, Hail to the King and stuff like that. I
And
like that record.
that is an album that took me some time to warm up to because that was just a straight up hard rock album, which is something they had never done before. So when they first came out with Hail to the King, and
I
it's
love
just
that
very
song.
simple, like duh, duh, duh,
It's like Black
duh, duh.
Album, just
Yeah, I was kind of
fucking
like, this isn't Avenged Sevenfold. They're supposed to be shredding all over the place and screaming and shit. And then I got used to it, and I was like, I like this though. They
yeah,
can do just like straight hard rock, like they can.
they can. Um, Here we go, guys.
We're still
Now,
watching New Nightmare.
again, I get it, like this part of the movie. I'm enjoying the film, but it's a slow burn for at this point for me, and it's not uninteresting, but that shot of Freddy grabbing the kid in the casket is gonna stick with me for a couple days. That shit was fucking creepy as shit. God
What do
damn.
you think of the? I'm a fan of the glove too. That looks like bone almost. I like that.
Brilliant. I mean, I got zero complaints with the design. And I love Robert right here. I mean, the whole thing's a little silly to me. Like he's just all of a sudden like he's been painting this thing, but now all of a sudden it's just like he's seeing it for the first time while he's been painting this goddamn, you know.
Tough calf. No, that's oh yeah. There it is.
What about the theory? And I've never heard this theory, but I'm
Candyman.
just saying we don't see or hear from Robert from this point, right? That was the end of Robert in this movie.
I think so. Yes.
What if Robert got possessed at this point to be Freddy? And that's what happens. And it's not necessarily there was this entity of Freddy, but he's using the body of Robert now as the conduit. But then again, would Robert still look like Robert or something? I don't know. Because like I know the big thing is a lot of people will say, why didn't we get to see Robert and this new Nightmare Freddy cross paths? Could be a number of reasons. I don't know why. Maybe that it never crossed Wes's mind to want to do that. Maybe it
Or
was,
he
hey,
left it
you've got enough
ambiguous
to do.
on purpose.
I think so too. I think so because I was listening to our last, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus by this, but I remember you thought it was just bad writing the last time we talked. This was when we talked about this on the ranking the looks of Freddy's, and you said I think it's bad writing, and I can understand how you could think that, but I really think Wes is way too smart to just like be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything with this, in a sense of like like it didn't cross his mind. I think it's logistics. Like I really do. Like it's like Robert has so much shit to do in this movie already. How are we going to pull this off? This is New Line. They have to film 6 weeks of stuff in 3 or 4. You know how that shit goes. You know, I think you could agree to give Wes a lot more credit than that.
I would amend that statement and say that it's not bad writing, but I would stand by that it's one of two things. It was either intentional to create ambiguity or it was just an oversight, which isn't necessarily bad writing. It could have literally just been an oversight, happenstance. Like that doesn't mean it's bad writing. I would agree that I think it's either left ambiguous on purpose or it was just an oversight, something that just slipped through the cracks. That doesn't necessarily mean bad writing. Bad writing would be to try to explain it and have it be completely unbelievable. You much rather leave it ambiguous. I do, however, I don't agree. I've seen a lot of the theories, and I'm pretty sure Wes talked about it too. This demon is not Robert, and like whether he intended it to be ambiguous or not, I don't know, but it's not Robert. Like it obviously takes that form of Freddy Krueger because of what it's trying to do to Nancy. I mean, that's her real life demon in those movies. So it's almost like I dig this look and you don't like this look. And you know what I mean? Like that's really what the impetus was there. But so I don't think it's bad writing. I mean, but I will say I think Wes works a lot better sometimes when he's not a sole writer on something. I think he's a better director than he is a writer. And I think the Scream movies are evidence of that. You know, that's not to say he doesn't have good writing, good scripts that he's written. He does, but I think Wes is best when he's able to be just a director. Like that's what he's best at, I think.
Yeah, I mean, clearly when you give him good material, he's, off to the races. And I mean, look, when the guy's left to his own devices too, I mean, he's shoved out some fucking bangers.
Yeah.
But I also think some directors have their time, where it's just like bands. I mean, look, Romero didn't really have any major successes after, I don't know, The Dark Half, which is a great movie. That was 92. Tobe Hooper never had any major successes, breakaway successes after, I don't know, maybe you could look at Life Force or something, maybe some stuff in the early 90s I'm overseeing. I think everybody's got their time. And with Wes, but Wes is a little bit of a different situation, I guess. He got, what do you call it? Like I call it Scream his comeback album. But it's like when you look at this movie, it's like this is still classic as fuck. This isn't like Wes had fallen off the wagon. I think he falls off and gets right back up a lot. And like some of his movies are just fucking bad. Like
Hills Have Eyes too.
The Hills Have Eyes too, but I understand he said he did that because he needed money.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a Deadly Friend fan too, but I'd be hard if I can't imagine anybody that says, "Oh, Deadly Friend's a great movie." It's just really charming, a really charmingly ridiculous movie that it's on the surface preposterously dumb. The whole thing is silly, but people love that basketball scene, and I love Deadly Friend too. It's just it's junk food. But this movie, it's like it's legitimate. It's so legitimate. Like it's one of the. I almost feel like New Nightmare. It's one of those things where everything is so. You remember how Wes described the Scream mask and Still Screaming? He's like, we needed to redo the Ghostface mask to avoid copyright problems with Fun World. So I'd had the guys do stuff, and even if it's like when they would do stuff, just if they changed something just a touch, it just wasn't as good. I feel like New Nightmare, everything is perfectly right, but the wheels just aren't spinning fast enough for me. And that could be my taste. I can see some people being, because I know people that this is their favorite one. That's awesome. I like this movie. Everything is so right about it. I just wish there was more excitement. And it's Lynn Shay. I didn't remember her being in this. Of course Lynn Shay's in this, but I don't remember her being in this. I just wish this movie was moving a little bit faster. That's it. It's missing this tiny ingredient for me.
That's the only complaint I've ever had with this movie. I like this movie too. I always have. I understand why some people don't. And the reason why some people don't is what you're describing. And what is my one and only really complaint with this movie is like, it does take a little bit to get going. Like it just does. And I understand that. I guess that is necessary to a degree because like you are telling a new story. Like it like literally technically speaking, we've never been introduced to Heather Langenkamp. We knew Nancy Thompson, so like technically speaking, you have to retell a story. You have to tell a new story now. But I do feel like we could have added a few more things in here to spruce it up.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily more Freddy. That could be an answer for sure. I just don't know. It feels slow. Just feels slow.
Yeah.
But I'm so invested in Heather in the movie. I think they set her person out. they set her up in such a great way where she's dealing with the limo driver. She's dealing with you clearly like the whole movie seems like a metaphor of like, Freddie is always going to be her blessing and a curse. She can't escape it. She's always dealing with it. So then it like comes to fruition with an actual fucking Freddie. And like I get all that, and that's awesome. I do find myself craving for this motherfucker to show up though. I'm ready for him. That goddamn it, dude. That shot of him at the funeral was badass. I forgot about that shot. And that shit, I still can't get out of my head. It's creepy as fuck. Could you imagine if that shit happened? Even if it wasn't Freddy, like if you, dude, I saw a TikTok the other day. It's not funny, but it was funny. Like it's one of those things you're really not supposed to laugh at. It was a funeral where these guys were getting ready to drop the casket into the hole, and the thing snaps, and the poor casket goes down just like in the movie where we saw, and the people are, no! Oh God, Mama, no! And they're screaming and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sent that to Sydney. She's like, Chris, that's not funny at all. I was like, it's not, but that's why it's funny, because it's not supposed to be funny.
And let me tell you something. If y'all saw some of my group chats, you would see of things that you're not supposed to laugh at. So
that's see, Nick, I'm 1,000% convinced everybody is this way. Everybody has sick sense of humors, but they keep it locker room with their close friends and stuff. And that's probably the way to do it. There's stuff me and you laugh at that is fucked up, but everybody does. Literally, that's how Howard Stern took over the world, because all the stuff that we all laugh at, we know it's not really funny, but it is. He made a career out of it because everybody has sense of humors about crazy shit. We all do, but it's just like some stuff we have to keep locker room, and that's just the way of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. There's Donut Inn. Is that where she get a coffee from? What the fuck is Donut Inn?
It's a inn where you can buy donuts.
I see that. Look at that. She's got the phone, the car phone. How much did that shit cost in the 90s?
Oh, back in the day, that was not cheap.
I mean, I'm assuming that the phone is part of the vehicle. It's powered by the vehicle. It gets its energy source from the car. But where's the receiver? Where's because like back in the day, your cell phones had the big fucking antennas and shit on them. And I don't know. I've never I got to look into that. Can you still get a car phone? I'm assuming not.
I don't know.
Like if you go buy like a 90s, like a 93 fucking Lincoln something. God,
funny thing is,
motherfucker.
Yeah, this was Wes's actual house too.
God damn, look at it. Mm-hmm. That's why he did Hills Have Eyes too.
Yeah.
God, Wes is just such a lovable dude. Like that's he there's some that he has what George Romero has. George Romero has this fucking lovable, and I always, both eras of George Romero are great. The old school George Romero, the fluffy, heavy set George with the short long hair on top with the big beard, and then you had the old man George with the giant black glasses and the long white hair. Both eras of George are just fucking amazing. Wes always kind of seemed the same though, like just kind of like the friendly old, like the friendly grandpa. Like he looks like the grandpa that like will play, fucking Mario Brothers with you or something. Yeah. But look right here. This is what I'm talking about. He can't lose that shit-eating grin. It's stuck on his face. He can't close his mouth. He's got this.
I don't know why, as the director, he would go, "Yeah, I need to be in this movie. I need to have this moment." He's got
to be in it. He's got, because it's part of the story.
No, I know.
It's not like with Heather's husband. The husband was like, "No, that's a death curse. If I act in the movie with my wife, we'll be divorced in a year." That's just like, that's unwritten Hollywood law. We can't be a couple in a movie. It's death. Like, I get that. that Chris guy, I think is his name, Chris something. But it's like you can't have another actor play Wes right here. But I
Ashton
mean, look,
Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, look, it's very endearing to see Wes in this now that he's no longer with us, and that's sad, man. It's sad. I do wish Wes was still around. Could you imagine if he was still alive? You think he would have been directing those Scream movies? You think he would have passed the
Yes.
torch?
No, he would have done it. Yeah, 100%. He wanted to do a whole new trilogy after 4 came out. That's what he wanted. Fucking Weinsteins, though.
You mentioned something before we got started. I wanted to talk about. You're going through some changes with your setup and movie players and 4K stuff. So you said you don't have a player right now for your disc, so you bought this movie and you said it wasn't on any streaming service.
No.
That could be an interesting thing. I don't think that, and this could be totally wishful thinking. These were on HBO for the longest time. They had all of them. There could be a chance they're pulling these movies off because they're in the process of hopefully remastering these movies to then be on disc and then on physical and then on streaming again. Could be wishful thinking, but if I'm right, about fucking time. I pray to God. Because that makes sense to me. If they pulled them and they're going through the process of remastering these films. Because once they remaster them, you know that those remastered versions are all going to be on. I mean, when the Scream Factory movies come out, they get if you watch Sleepaway Camp on YouTube, you're seeing the Scream Factory remastered Blu-ray version of that on you if you want to go rent it on YouTube. So I hope that this means that those films are actually getting remastered as we speak, and that's why they're off of the streaming sites. I pray to God that's what it is.
That'd be awesome. You know, pray to God, the flying spaghetti monster, Cthulhu, whoever you pray to. I mean, it'd be awesome. I mean, but honestly, kind of like you, it's getting to a point where it's just kind of like it's not even just like a new movie or anything. Literally nothing is happening with Nightmare. Like they can't even give us remasters. Like nothing is happening. And it's just kind of like it's really frustrating. And I know that Brad from Bloody Disgusting had told me that it's a rights thing, but this rights situation isn't as complicated as Fridays. And we're getting a new Friday thing next year. So it's like the rights thing here is just solely international. The Craven estate doesn't have the rights to international distribution. Okay. That can't be that hard to figure out comparatively. I mean, to some of the other shit we've seen. Halloween was in rights hell after the Weinstein Company thing, and they got out of it. Friday is still in rights hell.
Yeah.
And they're able to make stuff happen. So it's just, I don't know.
Dude, I go back and forth all the time. It's literally like a hot and cold thing with me. Sometimes I'm like, I don't need another film. I don't care about that. You know, I've got plenty to enjoy. And other days I'm like, but how cool is it going to be when we talk about the new Nightmare film and I get to hear Nick say, this film is going to do 70 million opening weekend. And I say, that's a little high, Nick. I think you're wrong. And then sure enough, the film does fucking 70 million or 70 because dude, as a big fan of these movies, it would be the coolest feeling in the world to see Freddy not only come back but whip everybody's ass again in the box office. I would take a lot of pride just as a fan in that. You know, I'd be like, God, this would be so cool.
He ain't coming for Halloween 2018. It ain't happening. That movie is, I don't know how it made as much as it did. I mean, I don't even think
the stars aligned, dude. Jamie Lee, you know.
But I will tell you, if Freddy came back and it was, you know, Robert and Heather and stuff, yeah, it's beating Scream. I mean, that's one thing that I need to, like, it's one thing I pride myself in is box office stuff. I pay attention to that stuff, like, a lot. And so whenever a new movie's coming and Christian's like, how's this movie going to do? And I kind of give my prediction. I'm usually pretty close. I said with Scream 6, it would do 40 million plus. and it did 43.5. And you would have, people in the trades were saying 30 million for Scream 6. And I was like, I think they're underestimating it. I thought they were, and they were.
God damn, he's here. I'm listening to you.
No,
Now,
you
we're
can,
cooking now. God damn.
oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
You can normally, I don't know, just tell by like social media how big something is. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think you can get a pretty good gauge on it.
yeah, because social media, what is social media mostly made up of? Young, casual moviegoers, not the hardcores like us. Most of the people are just casuals. And if a bunch of casuals are talking about a movie, it's probably going to do pretty well.
Yeah, and I think the word of mouth on 6 probably helped it out too, to get the casual people to be like, "Oh, so it's really good, huh? Maybe we should go see it."
Yeah, no,
You know?
that does help, because let me tell you something. Morbius had a pretty good opening weekend for what it was, and all the reviews came out after opening weekend. They were like, "It's fucking terrible," and it
People stopped going.
tanked. Yeah, after that. So
Yeah.
I had fun with Morbius, by the way, guys.
All right, I feel like from this point on, the movie's gonna be we're ready to rock now.
Oh yeah, about to get the best sequence in the movie.
Yeah. So I feel like once we get to the West scene, it's rock and roll from there. I mean, there's my favorite part of this film so far is seeing Freddy drag the kid down to hell from the casket. That shit's gonna stick with me.
You just wait for the long tongue, man. The long tongue.
Yeah.
So, by the way, guys, there's a squirrel in my attic. And
you can hear it?
I can hear it right now.
Is that a normal occurrence for you, or?
No. This is something that has just started recently. The other night, I was sitting on the couch and I heard something rustling around. My brother comes out. He's like, "Dude, there's something in the attic." I was like, "Yeah, it's an animal, whatever." And last night, I finally heard it making noises. It's a squirrel. And I'm just like, how can you not get the fuck out? You got in. Like, get out. Like, I don't know. I'm not freaking out about it because it's a fucking squirrel. Like, and but still, it is kind of annoying. I'll be sitting here. I was watching TV earlier and I heard it rustling around. I'm like, get out of my attic, dude. Like,
Oh, that would annoy the shit out of me. It'd freak me out too, just hearing that crap.
You can hear my cat meowing because he just heard it making noise.
Uh-oh.
And he'll stare at the ceiling when he hears it. He'd go after it too if it was, if it somehow got into the house. That's one thing that cat is good at, hunting things. My dog, he ain't worth a shit when it comes to that. Not worth.
What was your dog's
shit.
name again? Your dog's name is
It's Carl.
Carl's chilling, dude.
Yeah, no, here. You guys want to have a little look-see at Carl over there?
I like Carl. Come here, Carl.
He's by the... He heard you.
Come here, Carl.
Now he's stretching out right there.
Dude, he's chilling.
You can't see him anymore.
Dude. I like him.
Yeah,
Carl's awesome. Big money Carl.
Everybody likes Carl. Now he's just staring at me because I've been saying his name. He's like, "What? What's happening?"
I've always told Sydney, we had 3 dogs. We just lost the one a while back, and I liked having 3 dogs. Sometimes it's a bit much to deal with, but Sydney was like, "Do you ever want to get another dog? Are you fine with what we got now with Chevy and Owen?" I'm like, "I'm fine," but I was like, "I've always wanted a cat. I've never owned a cat." And she's like, "Oh, we can't have a cat in the house. The dogs will kill it." And I'm looking at you. You've got a cat and a dog right now. Is it just a matter of acclimation, or is it certain breeds that are good with cats and dogs? Like, what's the
That's Kylo, and he is practically a dog. Him and Carl are like best friends.
They hang out?
Last night, they do this all the time, but
last
night, they're both laying on the floor, heads touching. Kylo's on his back, Carl's on his back, and they're touching heads, and they'll lick each other. And it's not even like breed of dog. I don't think it's about. Kylo. We got him as a kitten, So he was introduced to Carl as a baby. So like that's why they've become like butt buddies because like he's known him his entire life. And so it's just kind of like, but like my brother's cat, KK, the one that is right there, she no does not like the dog. She is not a dog cat, but that's because she's never, been around dogs until she was around mine. So
Right.
it's really just about that. If you get a kitten, I think that's what you need to do. Get a kitten so the cat will be comfortable with the dog and it'll be brought up around the dog so the cat won't be afraid of the dog. The trick will just
That's an
be
idea.
the trick will just be getting your dogs to understand like, hey, this is a new animal, but Carl understood. He didn't mess with him.
See, I love the idea of having a cat because Sydney likes the kind of pets. First of all, that throw up that the kid did on Heather was fucking disgusting. Okay, and it was a dream, thank God. It was fucking nasty. It looked like shit. Like that's what it looked like. It didn't even look like throw up. It looked like the kid shit out of his mouth. I like I'm the kind of pet owner, and my Boston that passed away was the exact kind that I loved. I'm the kind of pet owner. I love to have my pet in the room with me, but I don't have to be touching them. They can be sitting next to me, and I dig that. Sydney loves the attached to the hip type.
Oh,
So
no.
Chevy and Owen, she has to have them laying on her lap, leaning up against her sides. She loves all that, and that's what Chevy and Owen are like. And my dog that passed was like he'd come in the room, he'd see me, he'd sit down and chill. I'd get up, I'd go over, and when I needed to go get something, I'd give him a little pet or something. That's my type, and I
Yeah.
figure cats are like that too.
They
Like you
they
gotta pet
they
'em.
are depending, but like Carl's the same way. He likes to be like if I'm sitting on the couch, he's on the floor, on the rug. Like, he just likes to be near me. But unless I call to him, he won't just jump up on the couch. Like he will not do it. Like you have to call him because he understands like I'm a dog, like I will be near you, but I don't have to be up your butt.
Girls got
Zeke,
boundaries.
yeah, he does. Zeke, however, is the most annoying cat in the world because of how needy he is. He won't get on you. Like if you bring him on you, he'll lay down on you, but he always has to be right next to you. Like how many episodes of the podcast, guys, go back and watch. You'll see right here on this cushion right next to me, 5 minutes into recording, he jumps up, lays right there. And he's like, but he's cool. Zeke is he's a wild one though, man. He likes to go outside and just roll around. He doesn't try to run away. He just wants to go roll in the grass. And today I got home from work. I felt so bad, man. I opened the door and Carl's right there. And I, close the door behind me and the door like stops and I turn. Zeke tried to run out right after I opened the door, tried to run out and the door, like, and the frame hit his head.
Oh god.
Yeah. So then I look at him on the ground and he's like shaking his head like over and over. And I'm like, dude, did I just give you brain damage? Like, but don't try to run outside. And he heard me saying his name. He's right there. He's literally a dog. He'll run up and down the hallway with me. Like if I run to one end, he'll follow me. Run to the other end, he'll follow. He's literally a dog.
I'll be damned. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Sydney about that. Cause like I like the idea of having a cat.
Cats are cool, man.
That could be like my pet.
They're chill.
Owen's my
They're
pet,
chill.
but yeah. I want a church kind of cat, but I looked into those British short hair cats, dude. If you want to buy one, they're fucking expensive.
I mean, we got Kylo online, just like people that, their cat had a litter of kittens and they couldn't keep them and they were just giving them away.
Giving them away.
And
yeah.
Yeah. That happens all the time because let me tell you something, cats, they like to fuck. So they have a lot of babies.
Oh, I believe it. Oh man. It's so
y'all have gotten
crazy.
some really different content tonight from us.
Yeah. It's so jarring seeing the level of care and professionalism in this movie compared to like Jason Goes to Hell. It's clear that like Shay and Bob and all the executives, dude, they weren't paying a lick of it. They let Cunningham just deal with Jason Goes to Hell 1,000%. I almost bet money Shay didn't even look at a daily for Jason Goes to Hell. You know, like he was just like, whatever, Sean, you're in charge, do your thing. It's just so crazy. Like it's to me, it's like, and look, I like Jason Goes to Hell, don't get me wrong, but to me, it's just so clear. Like this movie is just like, this is an actual legitimate film. I would show any person. I wouldn't show Jason Goes to Hell to just any person, because then they would say, this is the kind of shit you watch. But I would show them. I would show anybody on the planet New Nightmare and not be worried of judgment. You know what I mean? Like, it's night and fucking day.
Yeah, because New Nightmare is a film. You know, like it takes itself
Legitimate.
seriously.
Yeah. Every aspect of it is so professional and well done. And, you know, Jason Goes to Hell is
It's
like,
something.
Is crack cocaine, meth.
It's got a great opening.
Seeing his big fat toad head Jason thing just hit the ground because somebody just takes the head off camera.
See hearts get eaten.
That's a show for another day, folks.
Jason Slug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't asked us to do Jason Goes to Hell yet, because
well, no, you don't really like it, so I never wanted to subject you to it.
We did Resurrection. What are you talking about?
We had fun with Resurrection, though.
Yeah, and maybe watching Jason Goes to Hell with somebody that likes it could kind of educate me on some things and maybe make me appreciate it a little bit more. I've watched it literally 2 times in my life.
Dude, I've watched it 200 times in my life. I just, like, that's the one, dude. It's never fucking, Jason Goes to Hell is never boring. It's just every scene, even with no Jason, it's fucking hysterical to me. Like, I've been meaning to make a YouTube video about this, dude. I want to make a YouTube video called Making Voorhees Burgers, and I'm gonna get the ground meat and I'm gonna shape it. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm sick of. Oh, here we go. Here's a great shot of Freddy. Hold on. God, green fedora.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, look at, he's a fucking monster. Oh, so we're gonna recreate the opening scene right here. I remember.
Christian, one of my employees just sent a meme in the group chat. It's a bumper sticker that says, "Sorry I'm late. I was at home. I just didn't want to come." Jesus Christ.
Oh, come on, let's see that girl on the roof. God, Freddy looks killer in this movie. I disagree with Brandon still to this day. Part 2 is the best look, without question. But this is up there.
Brandon asked me, he's like, "I like Scream 6, Nick. What does that say about me?" I'm like, "That you have taste."
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like, did you expect to not like it?
What he expected was Stu. That's what he expected. I think a lot of people might.
We got to get off that, man. I want it to. I really want it to. They're not going to do it.
It's a pipe
too
dream,
on. Yeah, it's too on the nose. They're not going to do it.
God damn! Look at this shit. I don't think this is as good. Well, I don't know. Actually, I think this might. This is aging really well to me.
Yes, in some ways it is better than Tina, but I think just the impact of seeing it for the first time with Tina, I think that's why I take Tina.
Yeah, but you're seeing Freddy up there with her in this one.
Yes. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, and Freddy's wearing a fucking jacket, bro.
That trench coat is awesome. What a hell
of a
look.
These nurses keep getting assaulted.
Right now, see, the movie's kicking ass now. Like, I'm digging this, and I really, really love this. Freddy looks like he could stand toe to toe with the best of them.
Dude, honestly, I was talking about this the other day, and shout out to the guy on that I sent Christian the comment. Shout out to the guy on my live stream that I did with Justin, where we just like pitted each sequel from the big 3 against each other.
I did that a couple years ago too.
He's like, glad to see more YouTubers ripping off Dave McRae. Let me just say, we've had Dave on the show. I've subscribed to Dave for a while, but spoiler alert, I really don't watch many YouTube videos. Like I just don't do it. So I don't know what he's been doing, but everybody has done a video like that. I just had never done one. So
Yeah.
I thought, "Oh, let's do it." But
Yeah, dude,
in that
I did
video,
those years ago. I milked those. I did
well, I mean,
episodes for those too.
it was fun,
It
and
was like
like, you know, we'd never
2018 too when I did them.
yeah, we'd never done it, and you know, everybody's done it. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is because in that I'm I'm getting to a point, and this is going to be blasphemous to some people, but I don't give a shit. I think I might like Dream Master better than Dream Warriors. I might, like, I really might.
It's hard to argue it because there's certain things peripherally, but very important to me. Like the soundtrack for Dream Master is, in my opinion, possibly the best music from the motion picture soundtrack I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, and
But
it's great. It's not only great, but it ages like a fine wine because not everybody's into hair metal, and that record it's not a hair metal soundtrack. I mean, it's
no,
new wave, it's punk, you've got that alternative stuff with Dramarama with the I'm so sick of it tonight. Tell me what the hell is wrong. You got that kind of stuff, and you've got the Divinals, which is just that soundtrack. It's timeless, absolutely timeless. But sorry, I'll get going on this kind of subject, but carry on about why you like Dream Master more.
no, I that's really all I had to say. But to your point, I feel like the reason that I'm starting to like that a little bit more is one, mainly, I think that Dream Warriors was right there with Freddie, right there to like, this is the perfect line. But I think Dream Master is just a little bit better with Freddie. Like, I think that Freddie has just a little more character in Dream Master. And I think that that's what it is about the two. Technically, Dream Warriors is a better movie, but I think I enjoy Dream Master more because that is when Freddie was the Freddie everybody knew him as. Like
Super
that was
entertaining.
Freddie.
It's just so
Yeah.
fucking fun, dude. It's so fun. You know that shot right there? First of all, I want to say that was a hell of a sequence.
Oh yeah.
With the 18-wheeler and stuff. This is aging really well for me. I know it's been a year since I've watched this movie, so that this is I'm really enjoying the film now. Ever since we got past the scene with Wes, I'm all in. Dude, it's just Dream Master is so goddamn fun and it's so quotable, and I actually like Tuesday as much as Patricia because Tuesday brought more elements to the. Tuesday was perfect for that movie because without her, we don't get. She's the singer of that opening song that's so fucking classic.
Yeah.
Running from this nightmare. That's
Heart attack
Tuesday.
on a one-way street.
Yeah, that's her.
Isn't that what? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the song's
Lyrics
called
don't
"Running
make
from
a
This
ton
Nightmare."
of sense, but yeah, you know, it's fun.
It doesn't matter. It's just fucking catchy, you know.
Well, I think a big reason why some people have a sour taste in their mouth for Dream Master is because they were pissed off that the living Dream Warriors got killed in the first act of the movie. I think a lot of people were like, "What the fuck? They survived the last movie. You bring them back just to kill them in the first act?" And it's like, yeah, but that's kind of like a horror movie rule, guys. Like, I don't know why nowadays still we don't. I don't really think we have that problem nowadays. Like, you almost expect it if someone comes back for a sequel and they're not the lead, they're probably gonna die. Like,
We saw it with Scream in a sense with Dewey, so I mean, we saw that with Judy Greer. She died in Halloween and kills
Cotton Weary in the earlier Scream movies. He was never the lead, so the fact that he came back, you're like, he's probably gonna die. And he died. Like,
down the road, I'm not saying we need to do this next week or so because it's been quite a while for me. Down the road, I don't mind watching Halloween, not Ends. I don't want to watch Ends, but I want to revisit Kills again for the show because I haven't watched that one in quite some time.
that one's such a blast, man. So fun. So fun.
God. Look at this shit. Saxon looks the same in 94 as he did in 84.
Yeah.
He's fucking great. I mean, dude, if you start watching more Italian stuff, you're going to see him in so many goddamn movies. He is in all of those fucking movies. Saxon is just in everything. Fucking Nightmare Beach, Tenebrae.
So
he just
suave.
shows up in all that shit. He was like the American actor in those movies.
I was gonna make a joke about Freddie standing there under the sheet and be like, "Yeah, that's my sheets in the morning," you know, because he basically just looks like a giant boner
Giant
poking on
boner.
it.
Yeah. God damn, dude.
Speaking of giant boners, guys, I
We're
made a
really getting to
post.
see him right here, man, and it's fucking great. I'm sorry. It's
Oh
just like
yeah,
I said, it's been a while, and I forgot that you really get to absorb him in this movie during
Mhm.
the second half, and it's fucking great. Look at the Nosferatu shot. That's
Yep.
awesome. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna tell everybody that may not have seen it. I made a post on Twitter yesterday. We'd been getting a lot of comments from you guys about you guys should do like kind of like a, I don't know, more inappropriate version of the podcast. Get into
If you can
personal
imagine that.
stories. Yeah, I know. And uh, I had been messaged about it. We'd seen comments when we did live streams, and I ran up by Christian, and he was like, "Yeah, screw it." So we are going to do it because we already have our own channels and jobs, and other things going on in life. It's not going to be like the podcast where it's going to be every week. It's going to be once a month because we're going to have to add an extra recording now on our schedule. And what we'll probably end up doing is like do an episode. And then once we wrap the weekly episode, we'll probably record that episode. It won't be as long as these ones. These are probably more like 30-minute to an hour type things, but they're going to be live streams. So you guys can ask whatever off the wall, not safe for work questions in those live streams. But here's the kicker. You have to be a patron of Christian or I. You have to. Like, we're not going to put this stuff on YouTube because we're going to talk about anything. So
Like
we
if
don't
you,
want,
never
we
mind.
don't
I'm not
want
even
them.
gonna say it.
I mean, you got, when I say that, I'm not kidding, guys. Like we're going to talk about anything. Like, so just understand, you got to be a patron, but you'll be able to be a part of it, and you'll be able to ask whatever and find out a lot of shit that you may want to know. So
I'll talk about it, dude. I'll talk about my worst breakup where I fucking almost chopped the whole tree down out of anger, and I'll go into all that shit.
yeah,
I
and
don't give a fuck.
I'm excited to do it. So we're going to start it next month in April, since it's literally the end of March right now. So there will be an episode of it. The idea of calling it Uneeda After Dark. So I think that's just what we're going to call it. But again, it's not going to be something you're going to be able to get on the main feed. You won't be able to get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, none of that. You will have to be a patron of ours. We both have tiers, I think, on Patreon for $1. And like, believe me, I get it. Like, money is tight for me most of the time, but $1 ain't bad. And
Buck is the buck.
yeah, it's $1, and you'll get an extra Uneeda episode every month on top of already getting early access to the weekly episodes if you're a patron and other things. So yeah, I mean, it's worth it. So if you guys want to do that, head over to Planet CHH. Or actually, I think he's Christian Hannah Horror still on Patreon or
I
the Lost
updated
River
it.
Drive-In.
I updated
Okay.
it.
I am a patron of Christian's, but I rarely ever use Patreon, especially because a lot of the times, he posts the episodes early and then I share the link on mine and post it early.
Right.
But I've already listened to the episode. So because we recorded it. So yeah, but it's $1. And if the only thing you're getting out of it is an extra episode of the podcast every month for $1, I think that's pretty good.
It's a killer deal.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. I'm down with the idea. I'm down with the idea for sure. Man, that's seeing Freddy in this movie now. It's just
here's
like,
the thing, though,
damn.
Christian. How many sleeping pills does this bitch need?
I
She's
don't
gonna
know.
die.
Yeah.
She's gonna.
It's almost like she's trying to.
Yeah. I
Those
love
sleeping
this.
pills or those uppers she's
They're
taking right now.
they're
she's
sleeping pills.
she did right.
Yep.
She's trying to.
I love this transition though. Coming up right here.
Yeah, this is where Wes like knew how to be artsy, if you will. Not in a facetious way, like in a good way. Like
this is where the filmmaker really came out.
Exactly.
Yep. Like that shit is so cool. That's so cool. Like, who didn't want to do that when they were a kid too? Like you build a fort or something and you wanted it to be like fucking endless. But when she's about to come out of this mouth, It's awesome. And the
Oh,
fact that they
dude.
built this set and stuff was just so freaking cool.
Yeah. God damn.
Look at that goddamn mouth, dude.
Oh my god. That's fucking crazy. All right, CGI is a little shitty, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's 94. You can't, you know.
Yeah, limitations, man. You can only do so much.
I love the water. Reminds me of Dream Child. I love that kind of shit. Gothic stuff and like fucking just water. Like, look at this. Where is this? You can tell me they built this?
Yes, they built
It's
it.
fucking beautiful.
It's a set.
Good God.
I would assume most of the money on the budget went to this. Like, seriously.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like this was the set that we saw in the beginning of the movie, and they double meted. You
No,
know,
that's what I was saying at the beginning. Is I wonder if they just repurposed it. You know,
they had to have.
yeah.
And we saw the outside of this in the beginning of the movie. Like, it's a double meta. That's fucking killer. I don't know why I never really thought about that till just now. That I'm gonna give extra points for that. That's cool. Because now she's on the set of the movie that she was dreaming. Like, God, it's even deeper than that because that was a dream. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. This is like the ripple effect times 1,000. God damn. She looks good with that wet hair too. God, she's pretty in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
I loved me.
Young man.
I loved me some Jamie Lee Curtis. Don't get me wrong, but I never was like attracted to Jamie Lee. But Heather in this movie, she could get it.
She's foxy, dude.
Yeah. It's a good question. No, that's not even fair. I think the easy. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say which big three franchise had the hottest leading ladies, and most people would say, well, Friday the 13th, because that was like a prerequisite. You know, they wanted to get hot chicks that would get topless. Like that was the point. But Halloween's getting up there, man. It really is. You've had Allison in the new trilogy, Danielle Harris in Rob Zombie's movies, Scout Taylor Compton in Rob Zombie's movies, Ellie Cornell, Kathleen Kenmont. Like Halloween's up there too. Nightmare has some, some lookers too. I would probably still give the edge to Friday, just because like that was, you literally were not going to land a Friday the 13th role as a female unless you were one, willing to show your boobs, or two, very attractive. Like,
I'll tell you right now who I love. First of all, this Heather right here, this is like the kind of girl I just want to take her out somewhere nice. Like she's beautiful. I love her. And now that I'm the age of her, basically, she's just so, like, I'm so into her. Because like I'm around her, because I'm 30. I'm actually going to be 31, and fuck, I can't believe this. My birthday's on April 8th. I'm going to be 31. This shit is ridiculous. So I'm gonna be 31 in less than 2 weeks. It's fucking crazy. I'll tell you who I think is another one that is just, I like strong women that have like an appeal of like they can handle themselves, but they're still very feminine and just sexy. Is Lisa Zane from Freddy's Dead, dude.
fuck yeah, she is, dude.
She's got that, you know what I mean? She's like that kind of broad you can take out and you can talk to her and she'll be very confident with you. She has no problem. Like, I like girly girls too, but something about like Lisa Zane is a fucking woman.
Yeah, in that movie, Lisa Zane gives you the vibe that she's the type of woman. She's got goals and aspirations and a nice career, and like, she's got her shit in order. She's like just comes across as that type of lady. She's not all just about looks. Like, she means business too, and that yeah.
So she's honestly, and my taste change as I get older, I guess. But she is in my top 5 of my favorite quote unquote final girls from these movies. I adore Trish from the final chapter. God, she is sexy.
We have said this many times on this podcast and just amongst each other, but I have to say it again. It cannot be understated. I don't know if I have ever seen a woman age as well. Scout Taylor Compton. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I sweat when I look at pictures of her, dude.
That woman is gorgeous. Like, and it's so funny because years ago, like back in the Rob Zombie era, everyone was fawning over Danielle Harris in those movies. And it's like, Danielle's still cute as hell, but like Scout is just, it's another level now. I mean, I look at her and I'm like, you could be a supermodel. Like,
Yeah. God damn, dude, look at this set. Holy shit. That slow-mo shot of him coming down the stairs.
and
This is
yeah,
fucking beautiful.
you guys know this is nothing new for us, by the way. We always end up somehow talking about how Scout Taylor Compton's hot. I mean,
Dude, what's wrong with talking about beautiful women? Everybody, I
nothing
mean,
at
you know what I
all.
mean?
And
I
these
love-
these women, these are successful women with good careers and, you know, good heads on their shoulders. They just also happen to be very attractive. So,
God damn, Nick, this is some visual shit right here. I forgot how good this was.
oh yeah, just wait till the extendo arm comes out.
Can you? I need this on 4K yesterday. God, this is.
I'm telling you,
beautiful.
this is one of those movies that, like, especially with certain Nightmare fans that don't go back and watch this movie a lot because it's not your prototypical Nightmare movie. But when you watch it, you're like, well, that movie's actually really good.
Dude,
like,
this shit is killer.
It gets lost in the shuffle because it's not your prototypical Nightmare movie, but it's a good fucking movie, man.
Yeah, Wes is owning this stuff right here. Oh, here we go with the long arm, and I love that kind of stuff right here. Like, this is great.
That's
Even
Freddy.
though it looks tacky a little bit, it's nightmarish. It's not supposed to look realistic, which you can call a cop out, but I think it just fucking works.
When I was watching this with my mom, like last month, right when Heather stepped on the step right there, she goes, "Oh, that's like the first one." I was like, "Yeah, Mom, that's the fucking point."
Yeah. God damn, this is good shit. Freddy, like, with the flames reflecting off of him. Oh, look at that with the stairs. God, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is good
my mom
shit.
immediately saw that and was like, "That's like the first one."
This is good shit.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, I see his eyes rolling to the back of his head too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great. That is great shit. God damn. He's like a snake. You know, it's like not chewing. It's just he's swallowing him.
She stabbed him in the dick.
I think she did.
I think she did too. That or the butt.
I like the skeleton-esque glove hand. I'm not in love with it, but quite frankly, it's not one of those things where I could tell you what I think would have been better. Like, I don't have another idea besides the glove, but then that would be, I get that. You don't want to do the glove because that's movie Freddy.
Well, no, and also this movie, a lot of what this movie's playing on is like biblical themes and imagery.
Right.
Like, so it's supposed to look more demonic. It's supposed, like, yeah, I dig that a lot. I loved on Never Sleep Again when Heather was talking about doing this scene, and she was like, this scene was like the worst because I had to have this long tongue appliance wrapped around my face, and every man on set couldn't stop making jokes about it because, you know, like, just the appearance of it. And she like, and I'm like, honestly, yeah, I bet that did suck.
God, this whole stuff is fucking beautiful though. I can't believe how good it looks.
Oh, he's like Abby now in Saw 2.
Yeah, he's got a snake tongue.
Yep.
It's such a great look of Freddy. I see how people can really dig it too, and I like it. He's mean. He. Oh, the devil horn Freddy. Here we go. Fuck yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. This set is something else. I swear to God, it is something else.
Christian, you know, I'm thinking about when we look at certain effects and we talk about certain movies and franchises. I don't know, man. I just don't know how you could take. I just don't know. I feel like this movie is objectively better than a few of the Nightmare movies. Like, I do think it is.
Without question. As a matter of fact, I didn't rank it low when I ranked it a couple years ago now. And I'm not redoing that. I'm sticking with it. Dude, it was like number 4.
Until the new movie comes out, and then you'll have to re-rank it.
Yeah. Because, like, I remember I watched it. I'll save it from. We're about to be done with the movie, and we'll talk about it. But, like, dude, there's some stuff you literally. And I remember I ranked it right after seeing it. But, dude, there's some stuff I find fairly undeniable about it. of how good it can be.
I do feel like
So
sometimes the argument sometimes we do have to say, like, it is very important to sometimes say, we are not, like, this movie may not be for me, it's not my cup of tea, but it's a good movie. And, like, I feel like as horror fans and just fans of film in general, no matter the genre, sometimes that gets lost, and, like, people can't distinguish between the two and give credit where credit's due because it's not for them. They're like, it just sucks. I'm like, that's not this. Like, no.
yeah, I was trying to
It
read too, like the script that she's looking at. It's the movie that just
Yep.
happened, and it's so clever. I mean, it really is. Dude, just imagine if this movie had the pace of Scream, because Scream is literally the right beats per minute, the
You know
perfect beats
why?
per minute.
The difference is Scream peppered in a few kills in there. I think that's what it was. I think that in a slasher movie, and clearly Wes was trying to do something more high art than slasher with this movie, and I totally get that. But at its core, it is a slasher movie in a sense. And with that type of movie, you have to pepper in every 15 or 20 minutes. You've got to have a kill. You have to have like an action scene. And I just, if this movie, it didn't even have to be Freddy. It could have just been the glove that killed her husband.
Yeah.
You know, there just needed to be one or two more of those in that second act to really like get you, or the first act really, to really like keep you throughout it. Like you had the good one of him in the casket.
That
Like
shit's
that.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, that seems cool, but we didn't get enough of those in the first act, I think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing with this dude. There is no levity in this movie at all, from what I see. Like
Very, very, very dour. Very.
nothing is funny about this movie. You know, there's not a
Except when
damn
Freddy,
thing.
except when the glove takes the claw and like pokes her husband's dick.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's kind of fun.
Like I feel like even in the first one, there were things that I could imagine the audience chuckling at, like when Glenn falls asleep and Nancy goes, "Glenn, you bastard, you fell asleep." Like people are like, "Oh, he fell asleep." Like I could see people laughing at that. This one is just like just a straight, solid dark shade of gray, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I like touches of levity every now and again, but this movie doesn't have that at all.
Yeah, but I think the mark of a lot of these like truly iconic franchises is at some point, especially when you've been going so long, you have to have a movie like that. That
Yeah.
is kind of a change of pace. That like Halloween 6 is one of those movies.
Yeah, there's
There's not a
nothing
lot of
funny about that.
jokiness. Yeah, it's dark.
Well, yeah, it is dark. I mean, I guess you could laugh at the fucking
I
"Here's
laugh at
Haddonfield."
and I laugh at the stepdad or the dad simply because he's just a fucking asshole, but it's not funny.
It's
Like
not, yeah. It
it's
is,
not
but it
funny.
isn't.
Yeah. So
Bastard ears.
and then like
That's the best line.
I know.
Dude, his delivery. You have little bastard ears.
Why don't you just give her all her goddamn money?
Oh shit.
I love when he comes home drunk and he's like, Deborah, I'm home. And he's like looking around. He's like, God damn it. She actually left. Like he didn't think she would.
Yeah. Oh
No,
man, well,
yeah.
guys,
I mean, all right, Christian, out of 5 stars. I mean, what would you give New Nightmare?
I'm gonna give it.
I'll tell you, I'm going 4.
I'm going 4 stars. I was gonna say I was gonna go 3.5, but I think the second half of this movie is so goddamn good. Like once we get to the scene of Wes Craven giving Nancy the lines where he's got his little shit eating grin and he's, once we get to that point, it is fucking awesome. So goddamn good. Visually, it's way quicker. Freddy looks fantastic in this movie. The way he shot too, a lot of the way they shot him is down looking up, right? So he has this fucking domineering style to him, I feel silly, you know. I've got a wall of Nightmare on Elm Street shit, and like, but then again, I don't want to watch these movies that often because I don't want to get sick of them. So like, I feel like I'm rediscovering things about this
I
movie, and that, you know,
I hear you, but I honestly, this is how I've always felt, and I say the same thing. I say this, and I do the same thing as you. I literally only watch the Halloween movies like pretty much ever in October, and most Octobers I don't even watch all of them. So I don't watch them a lot, just like you don't watch Nightmare. But I will say, if you truly love something, whether it's a person, a movie, whatever it is, you never get tired of it. You just don't.
right?
So that's like, I know that if it could be spring and I could pop on a Halloween movie and I'm still gonna love it. Like I just am. Like I'm just
Sure.
still gonna love it. So, but I get it. You're gonna make it an event sometimes. Like I love when it's October, and I usually wait till about 2 weeks before Halloween because there's 13 Halloween movies now, and I start the nightly watches leading up to Halloween, and it's cool. It's like an event, but some years I don't get around to all of them. Last October, I didn't watch Resurrection. I didn't watch H2O, and I didn't watch. I think Rob Zombie's first, but I watched every other one. I think.
I don't even remember what I did. Can't even tell you. Probably whatever the 4Ks were that came out. Those are the ones I checked out.
Well, we got 1 through 8, so this
I mean,
needs to be the
the
year,
ones
guys.
that came out last year, the ones that
Yeah,
I watched, which were
6
6,
to
7,
8.
8.
Yeah, this needs to be the year, guys. We need to manifest Rob Zombie's Halloween movies on 4K this year. We need it. It's got to happen.
We'll see.
Yeah, funny story before we go. My assistant leaves his tablet at work and to play the music on the overhead speakers so we don't have to listen to the radio. And I sent Christian a picture like 2 weeks ago. I was playing the Devil's Rejects soundtrack because it's a great soundtrack. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, I love that soundtrack. And he saw it on the search history, and he said to me the other day, he's like, "Yeah, so I saw like the Devil's Rejects like soundtrack on my search history, and like I just clicked on it just out of curiosity." He's like, "It's a really good soundtrack. It has like a bunch of really good songs on it." I'm like, "Yeah, Rob Zombie loves 70s music, so like he just like peppers it all throughout his movies." He was like, "When I saw the track listings, I was like, I think I need to watch this movie." And I was like, "You should watch it." But I did not tell him to watch House of Thousand Corpses first. And some of you guys might go, "What the fuck?"
Where my
Because
shirt?
I agree, House of Thousand Corpses is better than Devil's Rejects. I prefer to Devil's Rejects, but I do think Devil's Rejects can stand alone. And I think Rob did that on purpose. I really, really do. I think that Rob's intention was, you don't have to see that music video movie I made, years ago. You can just watch this, understanding from the beginning this is a really fucked up family. And yeah, so hopefully he likes it. I'll let you guys know what he thinks after he watches it. He watched
Mhm.
Cannibal Holocaust and he said it sucked. So
He's an idiot.
yeah, I know.
I'm glad I picked this. This was fun. Man, I'm gonna be thinking about those that I don't know what you call it, a cave scene or whatever that whole thing is. That shit was beautiful.
That's hell, bro. That's
That was
hell.
fucking awesome. That was so cool. You know, having a big screen in here now where I can really digest everything on the image too is just, God, it's killer shit. Killer
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go 4 stars. Go 4 stars.
Getting 4 from me too, guys.
Yeah, I think that this movie's aging well. It's just, I just find the first 45% just a little slow. But there's still scenes in there that I like. I mean, I love that um talk show scene. Hysterical.
Oh
I
yeah.
love seeing Freddy in there and stuff. And
Mhm.
there we go, guys. That was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I felt it was right to do this with because of Scream and meta stuff and you know all that kind of stuff. This movie, it felt right. So I'm
Well,
glad we did New Nightmare.
Christian doesn't know this, guys, but here in the next 3 weeks, one of our next 3 episodes is going to have to be Evil Dead related, with Evil Dead Rise now 3 weeks away. So, don't know if that'll be a watch along with one of the movies. I don't know what it'll be, but over
Yeah,
these
it's
next
fine.
3 weeks, we're gonna do and if Christian has his way, it'll be Army of Darkness watch along, which I'm cool with. But yeah, we'll throw some Evil Dead in there, and like I said, this month we'll do the first episode of the patron exclusive extension of the podcast, and it should be cool. We're closing in on 100 episodes. We will be at 100 episodes in like within 2 months, which is wild. Episode 100, we still have to bounce some ideas off of each other. We're pretty sure that we want episode 100 to have Lee and Piz on it. What the subject matter will be, who the fuck knows? But it'll be a big deal. It'll be a big episode. You got to go all out for 100 episodes. Like you literally have to. So
Yeah, that'll be fun. And I want to do a thing too. I'm gonna set up an email if people want to, like in the beginning of the episode, if people want to do like a, if they want to be like, congratulations on 100 episodes, love the podcast, or whatever. We could set up an email where people can send us little clips, and we can put it. I can make a compilation that we can play in the beginning of the podcast. That'd be fun. Nice little momentum.
yeah,
So I could set that up.
yeah, absolutely.
What was this? 92, 93?
This is 93.
93. Okay, cool. Wow, 93. We should
Mhm.
hit it this summer then, if not
We'll hit
before
it.
that.
We'll hit it in May. End of
Wow.
May.
I'll be a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, 4 stars for New Nightmare. I'd like to know what the criticisms are for people that don't like it. I think that this film is fucking beautiful at that final scene. I think it's some of the best the series has to offer visually. I think that Freddy was shot so well. I really noticed this time the way they shot him from the ground up, made him look like a fucking monster, which is great.
Oh yeah.
Great movie, a great time. Just a little slow in the beginning, but there it is, guys. New Nightmare. Please let us know your story with this film. Did you get to see it in theaters? Has your opinion changed on it? Your thoughts on the look? All that good stuff. I think I titled this episode "The 90's METApiece," which I thought was clever, but honestly, it's really not. I'm sure that's not even a word I created, but it is the 90's METApiece. That's how I feel about it. So thank you guys for another week with us of the Uneeda Horror Podcast. Stick with us. We'll be back before you know it. If you're listening to this, have a great rest of your trip. Maybe you're at your destination now. And if you are, check your list and make sure you get all your groceries that you needed. And we love you.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next time.